participate however you feel comfortable. And you're invited to stay and introduce yourself in conversation following the service. Our congregation is committed to individual freedom of belief, welcomes diversity, and seeks to promote a sense of community and fosters religion which enriches the spirit. We are a mostly lay-led community, strengthened and enriched by weaving together the volunteer contributions of members and friends. We are glad to have Reverend Florence Kaplow with us as a speaker this Sunday, and she's here from Port Angeles, Washington. She's a Unitarian Universalist minister, author, and Zen teacher, and she's our new minister. Yay! So as we begin our service, please take a couple of breaths to become fully present. Relax and share your attention, bring your attention into this moment of communal reflection and sharing. Somebody came up and I thought it was Robbie, and I just went, what? It's okay. Okay. This land acknowledgement words has been given to us by the Puyallup tribe. We acknowledge that we are on the traditional homelands of the Swabash Coast Salish Native people. The Puyallup people have lived on and stewarded these lands since the beginning of time and continue to do so today. We recognize that this land acknowledgement is one small step toward true allyship, and we commit to uplifting the voices, experiences, and histories of the indigenous peoples of this land and beyond. We will have a moment of silence now. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you arrived here, you belong here. I'd like to invite Ted and Vicki Claybaugh to come forward for our chalice lighting.
Hi, I'm Ted. Good morning to all you sleep-deprived people. Now let's hear it again. You can do better than this. Good morning. Good morning. That's more like it. This reading is from Albert Schweitzer. At times, our own light goes out and is rekindled by a spark from another person. Each of us has cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lighted the flame within us, which all of you have. Thank you.
Thank you so much to all of you. Thank you.
Good morning. You can say it in a quiet way if you want. It's okay. And thank you to Ted and Vicki for lighting our chalice for us this morning, beginning our sacred time together. It is wonderful to see you all here this morning. It's a sign that you apparently have some kind of digital device that you are able to be here. And I'm really happy to be here as part of my second Sunday with you, which, by the way, will happen on second Sundays each month. So this has been a harrowing, painful month for so many, both within this congregation and in the wider world. So it seems good to spend some time this morning honoring and celebrating the miraculous and beautiful ways we humans take care of one another. The ways you all take care of one another. I've seen and heard in this last month about the profound ways you show up for one another. And it has lifted and inspired my heart. One of the things that Vicki and Ted said to me this month is that the nature of this congregation, this community, is everybody has everybody's back. And that is an extraordinary statement about any community. So, bravo. In a moment, we're going to sing a well-known UU hymn, which begins with these words. Some of you may know it. Here we have gathered side by side. Circle of kinship, come and step inside. Whoever you are, whatever brought you here this morning, if you were here for the very first time, if you were here because your heart is broken by all that is happening in the world or in your own life, know that you too are part of this circle of kinship. Please, step inside the circle and let it hold you. So please rise, embody your spirit. If anybody wants to come up here and sing with me, that'd be great. Hymn number 318 in your gray hymnal.
360.
360. Sorry, I wrote it down wrong. 360. Is anybody going to come join me up here to lead?
Reverend Florence chose this reading by Palestinian-American poet Naomi Shihab in honor of International Women's Day, in recognition of all that is happening to those in the Middle East and to immigrants in our country, and to celebrate the power of human kindness. Gate A4, 1952. Wandering around the Albuquerque airport terminal, after learning my flight had been delayed for 4 hours, I heard an announcement. If anyone in the vicinity of Gate A4 understands any Arabic, please come to the gate immediately. Well, one pauses these days. Gate A4 was my gate. I went there. An older woman in full traditional Palestinian embroidered dress, just like my grandma wore, was crumpled to the floor, wailing loudly. "Help," said the flight service person. "Talk to her. What is her problem? We told her the flight was going to be late, and she did this." I stooped to put my arm around the woman and spoke to her haltingly. "Shudawa shubidak hababiti stonishwe min fadlik shubitsui." The minute she heard any words she knew, however poorly used, she stopped crying. She thought the flight had been canceled entirely. She needed to be in El Paso for major medical treatment the next day. I said, "No, we're fine. You'll get there just later. Who is picking you up? Let's call him." We called her son, and I spoke to him in English. I told him I would stay with his mother till we got on the plane and would ride next to her, Southwest Airlines. She talked to him. Then we called her other sons, just for the fun of it. Then we called my dad, and he and she spoke for a while in Arabic and found out, of course, that they had 10 mutual friends. Then I thought, just for the heck of it, why not call some Palestinian poets I know and let them chat with her? This all took up about 2 hours. She was laughing a lot by then, telling about her life, patting my knee, answering questions. She had pulled a sack of homemade mamoul cookies, little powdered sugared crumbly mounds stuffed with dates and nuts, out of her bag, and was offering them to all the women at the gate. To my amazement, not a single woman declined one. It was like a sacrament. The traveler from Argentina, the mom from California, the lovely woman from Laredo, we were all covered with the same powdered sugar and smiling. There is no better cookie. And then the airline broke out free beverages from huge coolers, and 2 little girls from our flight ran around serving us all apple juice, and they were covered with powdered sugar too. And I noticed my new best friend. By now we were holding hands. Had a potted plant poking out of her bag, some medicinal thing with green furry leaves. Such an old country tradition. Always carry a plant. Always stay rooted to somewhere. And I looked around that gate of late and weary ones, and I thought, this is the world I want to live in. The shared world. Not a single person in that gate, once the crying of confusion stopped, seemed apprehensive about any other person. They took cookies. I wanted to hug all those other women too. This can happen anywhere. Not everything is lost. Naomi Shihab Nye.
a little sweet little coda to that poem, which is one of my very favorites. I've known it for a number of years. Well, it turns out there are a lot of Unitarian Universalist ministers who feel like that's their favorite poem. And we were all gathered in Albuquerque for an Institute of the Learning Ministry at the end of January. And afterwards, I kept seeing on Facebook all the people that had gone to Gate A4 in the Albuquerque airport to honor that story and that poet. So that just really moved me. I had no idea that there was so much shared love for that wonderful, wonderful poem. I also just really want to acknowledge, do you realize we're surrounded by hundreds of daffodils here this morning? It's like we're embraced by daffodils, and I find what happens with flowers here just really remarkable. As a botanist, I just feel like I'm truly home. I've got all these plants around me, so thank you to the flower arrangers. So I want to begin with a quote that has inspired me for a long time and that I pull out again in hard weeks like this one, this week of war. It is by Howard Zinn, the radical historian and author of The People's History of the United States, which I read first when I was about 18. I can remember reading it. I was traveling around Maine in the back of a large pickup truck with a number of other people reading that book, The People's History. So see if it resonates with you as you look around this room. To be hopeful in bad times is not foolishly romantic. It is based on the fact that human history is a history not only of cruelty, but also of compassion, sacrifice, courage, kindness, just as we heard in that poem. What we choose to emphasize will determine our lives. We don't have to wait for some grand utopian future. The future is an infinite succession of presents. And to live now, that like present moment, and to live now as we think human beings should live, in defiance of all that is bad around us, is itself a marvelous victory. So I am so humbled and honored to be embarking on this ministry adventure with you. But I want to suggest this morning that if you think you have hired a minister to do the ministering, and that the people of the congregation, you all, are there to receive the ministry, you are thoroughly underestimating what it means to be a Unitarian Universalist congregation. I think you already know this. The beating heart of a UU congregation is not the minister. I'm going to say that again. The beating heart of a UU congregation is not the minister. The beating heart of a congregation of you all is you, is shared ministry. So I'll say a little more about what this is, but it's this idea that how you take care of each other and the world around you, how you live as you think human beings should live, how you show up that way year in and year out, decade in and decade out, with or without a minister, through brilliant ministers, disappointing ministers, short-term ministers, long-term ministers. It's about you. Knowing this, really knowing this and understanding this, that what you do together is ministry, and that each of you ministers to others. This will create an unshakable foundation beneath your feet. No matter what happens in terms of, quote, ministers, and it is an antidote to all that is discouraging around us, truly. So I want to read some of my favorite quotes from lay Unitarian Universalists about shared ministry. This is something that's been a passion of mine. I'm really interested in how this connects with our understanding of each other, who we are, what we can be in the world. So, this is the first one. Ministry is not meant to be delivered to a passive and docile community of believers. And as an aside, whoever can imagine a passive and docile community of UUs? Ministry arises from within the community itself. And then this second quote. We are called. We are all wholly dependent upon one another. Just as Ted and Vicky said, everybody has everybody's back. And we all have gifts to give each other. The call to ministry was never meant to be left to the professional. I like that line too. So you are all part of a small congregation. I know some of you have had experiences of larger congregations as well, but when you're in a small congregation, you know this directly. You know this in your bones. You were without a minister for the whole second half of last year. And that's not the first time. And somehow, miraculously, you did just fine without a minister. You carried on with taking care of one another and showing up for one another and having somebody up here each Sunday, however that came about. And this is a good reminder for, quote, the professionals, when we think we are indispensable. And part of the reason that I wanted to serve specifically as your minister is because I see how you are expressing shared ministry in so many great ways without necessarily describing yourself that way or even having that language. There are people here who got up very early this morning, even with the time change, to make coffee and to make treats and to arrange flowers. There are people here who have stayed up late many times working for the future of this congregation and worrying about it so that we can all be here today. There are people here who have brought soup or flowers or a smile to others here. I know because I have been hearing about it. I'm talking about each and every one of you. Whether you are a visitor here for the first time, bringing the gift of your presence and your willingness to listen this morning, or I know sometimes people bring out-of-town guests, or a person who's given years of your life energy to this congregation. What would happen if tomorrow everyone here woke up and thought of themselves as ministers? Just as I woke up this morning and then remembered, oh, right, I'm a minister and I'm going to be giving the talk. What if you woke up and thought, right, I am a minister? Now, that might fill some of you with horror. And I understand. For some people, ministry is a highly suspect, highly charged word, right up there with religion. I want to unpack that word for us just a little bit. The word ministry, or minister, comes from Old French, meaning ministère, a service or position. This meaning is still in our language when we speak of minister as a government official, like the Prime Minister of Canada. When I was in Japan a few years ago, I was communicating with an Airbnb host and describing a little who I was, and without thinking, I said, "Oh, I'm a minister." And when I got there, I discovered that he had thought that perhaps a very important government official was going to be staying on his living room floor in his small apartment, his very small apartment. And I think he was both relieved and a little taken aback to discover that in English there are two meanings of that word, at least two meanings. A minister, then, whatever their role, is someone who ministers, who serves. But what if it's true that the call to ministry was never meant to be left to professionals? I would venture to guess that each of us has heard a call to serve at some point in our lives. Think about it for a minute. Perhaps it was a call to be a parent. That's an extraordinary service. Or to be an environmental activist. Or to be a doctor or a healer. Or to be a teacher. Spend a moment thinking about the calls in your own life. We talk about this when people are getting ready to go to seminary. I felt a call. What have been your calls? What's called you? I think a call is a human thing, not something, again, left to the professionals. Or perhaps you felt a call to serve this congregation in one of the myriad ways people serve here. These are all forms of service, all forms of, dare I say it, I'm so sorry for those who don't like the word, ministry. We live in a very weird world, if you haven't noticed, where sometimes our identity as consumer, and that's our identity, you know, right? You see that in the newspapers, right? Good. This is what consumers think, right? And that our question should really be, what's in it for me? Does this add something to my life? And of course, those are important questions. But they are not the questions of ministry. And I would argue that they are not the questions of a truly abundant and connected life. The primary question of ministry is, how can I be in relationship? How can I honor relationship? Or as the UU minister Gordon McKeeman wrote, ministry is a quality of relationship within and among human beings that beckons forth hidden possibilities. It is inviting people into deeper, more constant, and more reverent relationship with the world and with one another. I'll just read that last sentence. It is inviting people into deeper, more constant, and more reverent relationship with the world and with one another. This is a radical shift in orientation from consumer and what's in it for me. Can you feel it? You feel what that means? And I think this is a call that any of us can choose to answer in our families, here on this island, which is pretty extraordinary, and within this congregation. It's a way of understanding our lives and why we're here. Next time I'm here, on the second Sunday of April, we're going to have a welcoming of new members. Maybe one of you is one of those people, or you're thinking about it. Over the years, I've talked to many people, who may have been attending a UU congregation, sometimes for years, and are not members. And they're just really not sure about this whole membership thing. They often say to me something like, I'm just not a joiner. And that always makes me laugh. And then I say to them, because I think not being a joiner is kind of one of the definitions of being Unitarian Universalist. So you'll fit right in. Really, you will. But when someone does hear the call to join a UU congregation, and sometimes I think it's very surprising to someone because they never imagined in a million years they would ever join any congregation, I think this is beautiful. This is saying, as Gordon McKeeman said, I want to be in a deeper, more constant, and more reverent relationship with the world and with one another. So a big part of how I see myself, the minister in front of you, is in a sort of co-creation of ministry with you. Listening and learning from you, calling forward and nurturing your ministries, and however that shows up for you, supporting you in that, celebrating your service to each other and the larger community, and continuing the process, just being putting my little shoulder to the wheel here, of deepening something wonderful that's already happening here in partnership with you. The whole greater than anything I could dream of, all on my own. So far, it kind of sounds like ministry is mostly what we do for and with one another inside a congregation, inside these walls. But that is only a small part of ministry. As UUs, we also need to support each other in what is sometimes called prophetic work, the ministry of standing up to the injustices and speaking and acting with courage and in alignment with our values, which I think we all know matters more than ever right now. A UU congregation that is just focused within may be a very sweet place, but it is not manifesting our deepest call as UUs. One of our great UU theologians, and you might not have known that we have UU theologians, but we have, James Luther Adams, he said something really interesting about all of this. And when I read this quote, I want you to consider that James Luther Adams happened to be studying theology in Germany in the 1930s as the Nazis were rising to power. And he spent the rest of his life believing in the ethical power of liberal religious people. He honestly believed that World War II could have been averted if the churches in Europe, in Germany, and in the United States had actually stepped forward with their full voice, with their full moral power, if we would only use this power. So this is the quote from him. "We need a firm belief in the prophethood of all believers. The prophetic liberal church is the church in which all members share the common responsibility and intention of making history in place of merely being pushed around by it." That's no small task. That's why we need each other. A few years ago, I heard a powerful talk by a young Native American man, Thomas Lopez, from the International Indigenous Youth Council. He said that if you have one stone, you can't stop much of anything. But if you put all the stones together, you have a mountain. And a mountain is immovable. We should think about what we can do together if we truly set our hearts and minds to make a difference. And one final thing, as we are beginning this journey of ministry together, I think about how I will, as your minister, inevitably disappoint you. Sorry to tell you that right off the bat, but many of you are in long-term relationships, so you probably know that is inevitable, right? And also how you will, and probably have, disappointed each other, one way or another. Even if you don't believe it right now, I can promise there will be disappointments and even heartbreaks. Anyone who has been part of a community in any form can attest to the heartbreak that's just part of life together. So I ask for your forgiveness right now. And on that day, whenever it is, that I disappoint you, I miss your heart, I don't connect in the way that I would want to if my very best self was coming forward. And I hope you remember these words and know that, like you, I am just doing the best I can, stumbling along, and sometimes I fall short, and I hope we can get up and begin together again, just as you do with each other. This is what it means to be in covenant with one another. This is part, when someone signs the book as a member, this is part of what they're promising. So be in covenant, to get up and try again, to find our way back into relationship when bonds are strained. So that's part of my promise to you, not only to be a minister for you, but with you, a living, reciprocal relationship where we have the potential to transform each other, you, me, and me, you. And maybe, if we're lucky, some corner of this world we so cherish. I hope that in the coming months and years we can dive deep into what it means to share ministry, to truly serve together, to continue to bring goodness within and beyond these walls. So we're going to do something a little different today. We're going to do what's called a litany, and it's for you. So I'd like to invite Kate forward as a member of the board. Robbie was going to do this as your board president, but Kate is a wonderful person to have here as well because she is also at the heart of membership. So you have a role here. Hold on a sec. Let's get it here. So this is going to be a litany of appreciation and blessing for all the ways you take care of one another, all the ways you express your gifts and practice shared ministry here. When you hear a way that is part of how you have given, please let our gratitude into your heart. Imagine this is gratitude coming from all the leaders that are here, which is like half the people here. And rise in body or spirit, and stay standing if you're comfortable. You can also just sit back down if you prefer. And we promise that no one will be left out of this. So here's how it begins. For all the creative ministries that flower here, those who make Sundays beautiful by arranging flowers and bringing decorations, please stand if you have done that at any time. Who have played or sung music that moves the heart, please stand if you're comfortable. Who have created or led services. So if you're not already standing and you have done that. Who have read poetry aloud here. Who have made tasty recipes. That's an art form too. For all who bring the glorious creativity and vitality that flows like a strong river through this congregation, we honor you and your service. May it bless your life and all you touch. And again, if you're comfortable remaining standing, you can do that, and I'll turn it over to Kate.
For all the caring ministries that nurture us, those who have welcomed visitors, who have reached out when another is in pain, who have brought soup and a kind word to those who are ill or grieving, who have shown up to celebrate or mourn with others, who have made coffee and brought tea to nourish us on Sunday morning, who have hosted circle suppers, who have taken care of this old building. We honor you and your service. May it bless your life and all you touch.
For all the justice ministries that call us and inspire us to live out our principles. Those who have shown up for the poorest in our community, the larger community. Those who have circulated petitions and written letters or postcards. Those who have given their resources to others. Those who have taken to the streets with signs and banners. Who have resisted war and injustice. Who have educated about oppressions. Who have worked to protect the earth. Who have stood in solidarity with indigenous peoples or with Black Lives Matter. We honor you and your service. May it bless your life and all you touch.
For all the many, many leaders and supporters of Vashon Island UU through the years, past and present members of the board officers and chairs, those who have chaired and served on myriad committees, sometimes for decades, and those who have given their time and treasure for the support and continuation of this congregation. All those often invisible efforts and offerings of time and energy and leadership are truly the bedrock and foundation of this vital religious community. We honor you and your service. May it bless your life and all you touch.
So now, I'd like to invite all who are here who are not already standing, if you're comfortable, you could rise in spirit if you don't want to rise in body, to please rise, whoever you are. You are part of the great circle of service. You give back to life in 1,000 ways, and we honor you. May it bless your life and all you touch. Thank you. You can be seated now. And thank you, Kate, for jumping in. So now just take a moment, close your eyes if you're comfortable. Remember those words and all the words that actually applied to you. Let that gratitude that came your way just fill your heart, fill your spirit. Feel the goodness that you bring to this world by your very presence. I hope you can feel that a little in your heart, because it's true of you. I so hope I have the right hymn number this time. So we are going to rise in body or spirit for hymn number 318, We Would Be One, which again is one of the great favorite UU hymns sung to the tune of Finlandia.
We will now pause the recording as we finish the service. As members and friends of the Vashon Unitarian Universalists, we commit to supporting our congregation. Financial resources help us pay speakers and staff, support our social justice programs, and maintain our building. Please support VIUU with your pledges and offerings so that we can continue to be a vital community. Our congregation engages beyond our walls for peace, social and economic justice, freedom of belief, and protection of our planet and its inhabitants. Once a month, we contribute the financial offering to a regional, national, or international organization that aligns with our values. This week's offering supports our beloved community. As we receive our offering, please join us in singing From You I Receive, and that's number 402 in your gray hymnals. Reverend Florence?
Well, first, I just want to say that we did leave somebody out in that litany, and that is the staff, whoever really helps out to make everything work in the background in the congregation, and of course, that is Runa Bird. So let's thank Runa for her ministry, which you can see it every time you look at your newsletter. You can see it in all the ways that things run smoothly here. So thank you, Runa, for your ministry. Yes. Well, may you go back out into your lives and into the world renewed this morning, nourished, encouraged, inspired for all the ways that you show up. Thank you. Oh, I think let's see, do I have something I announced? What's next? No, Donna. Donna, okay, all right, we're going to extinguish the chalice now.
The extinguishing of the chalice words are, I'm going to have to find these. My typeface is so tiny. The words are from Craig Rowland. He is on the board of the Salem, Oregon UU congregation, and he has felt a calling. And his calling is to be in service to his community and the vision that has held him for courage, clarity, and care. And I just wanted to say that because you talked about the calling, and we're also going to circle back to this idea of the circle, which Reverend Florence spoke about at the beginning of the service. As we extinguish this flame, may we carry its warmth into the world, not as a memory, but as a promise. You deserve a circle that sees your scars and your strengths, your doubts and your radiance, and holds them all with care. Let us be that circle for one another, a community of fierce welcome, wild grace, and radical hope. Go knowing you belong here and you always have.
That was a little anemic, sorry. thank you to Reverend Florence, Kate, Runa, Vicky and Ted, Donna, anybody I missed that was actually, who, didn't I say? Beth White. Beth White. Yes, sorry, it's good. And our musician Leslie. Yeah, anybody else? Who else? What? What?
Everything's fine.
I'm sorry. I only have one hearing aid in because this one wasn't working, so I'm a little unbalanced today. Maybe I should just take this one. Never mind. Okay, so now, please join us. Oh, so, and everybody who was participating here at Lewis Hall and online. Please join us for refreshments. Oh, people online, yeah, you're going to miss out. Following our VIUU events announcements. Now, this one doesn't say anything about being brief, but I think you need to be a little brief with this one, too. So if you have an announcement to share related to a VIUU activity, let's say it together, VIUU activity, please come up and form a line along the side of the sanctuary. And I'll light a candle. No candles.
I'm Julia. I have a couple of announcements. One is that the Social and Environmental Justice Committee decided just in the last week that we're going to try something new. Now, you already know that we have the food bank. People can drop resources off there. But there's a new food pantry right kind of mid-island, right across from Island Center Homes, big blue, and again, it's something, an outpouring of our neighbors. And we have decided that we will collect non-perishable items here and deliver them there. So it's an experiment. And of course, you can continue giving to the food bank. If you live north of town or north of the food pantry, you can drop your items off at that pantry. One of the things about it is the food bank only has food available once a week, obviously, the delivery, and people have other needs come up, and so there can be more of a variety there. And also, they're finding that people tend to come in the evening. So with increased fear about movement on the island and whether or not there are people who might separate family members, people are feeling less safe. And so coming out, the food pantry has a light inside it, and people can come there any time in the day or night and gather something. So we printed in the last bulletin, thanks to Runa, the list of items you can bring. We're going to have little handouts made, and we'll have a box, and we'll just see what accumulates here. And periodically, someone will deliver those items. And if it turns out that people find their own way there and we don't need the box here, we'll evaluate. But this is our experiment from the Social and Environmental Justice team. That's the one announcement. Second one is related to caring about refugees and refugee resettlement. And we are fortunate that we have the Havarat folks, the Jewish people, are offering their Shabbat, their religious ceremony in honor of refugees. And that's going to be next Saturday, I believe, at 7. Friday? Okay, thank you. Sorry, I should have written it down. At 7 p.m. at the Havarat. They have wonderful food at the end of it, but the head of a refugee group, himself a resettled refugee, is going to be the speaker. And I can tell you, going to that refugee Shabbat last year, there was hardly a dry eye from hearing from the resettled refugee who spoke last year. So please, if you can be involved with that, that's another great activity.
Hi. All right, my first announcement, I got two announcements, is that the men's group is meeting at my house this Thursday at 4 to 5:30 It's near Stockton, past Stockton, actually, near Sandy Shores. But we'll try to get another email out about it. But Rick has sent one already with the address and everything on there. So so please come, guys, if you'd like. It's a great evening. Right, but going to. Okay, now I also have a circle lunch that's happening on the 21st, and 2 people have actually are not going to be able to be there. So there are 2 more spaces available for the luncheon at my house on the 21st. So if you are moved to sign up and join us, please do. Thank you.
Thanks for the format.
I have to explain this just for a second since it was brought up. So this is as the time changes, our days get longer. This is the Greek god Helios, and he is the god that brings the sun up every day and across the sky, and he rests at the very, very top for a moment before he plunges back down and into the ocean at night. So that's what that's about.
I encourage you to go up and really take a look at that horse. It's a beautiful piece of art. So thank you for sharing your talent with this map. My name's Catherine. I'm going to give you a teaser for next Sunday. Whoop, whoop. We got Koshin Kane from the Zen Meditation Center coming to join us. The light, I'm going to do his words verbatim so I do him justice. The untrimmable light of the world, attention and the life you already have. We live in an age of distraction. Screens mediate so much of our experience. Attention is a commodity and boredom feels intolerable. What happens when we stop fleeing the ordinary and begin paying attention to the everyday instead? Hope to see you next Sunday.
Thank you. You know, first week of the month is birthday week, and you get your pencils. But a little birdie, Ann Lewis, told me that Tanya did not get her Ides of March birthday pencil. So here it is. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Tanya. Happy birthday to you.
And Margaret Mackey, too.
Is she here? Is she, okay. What's that?
Melvin is online.
Oh, well, how will I get them the pencil? Melvin, this is for you. All right. So, okay. Let's sing ourselves out with Go Now in Peace. Go now in peace. Go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere.